Have you ever questioned the reliability of predictions? Ever heard of Baba Vanga, the mystic whose visions stirred the world? Nestled in the shadows of the Balkan Mountains, Baba Vanga, born Vangelia Pandeva Dimitrova, was a blind Bulgarian mystic whose life and work have intrigued millions. Despite losing her sight at a young age, Vanga's purported ability to foresee the future became her most defining trait. Over the decades, her name became synonymous with mysticism and prophecy, particularly in Eastern Europe, where she lived and practiced. Vanga's visions covered a wide array of global events, often shrouded in controversy and skepticism. Her followers claim she predicted everything from natural disasters to political upheavals, while critics argue her predictions are vague and interpretable only after events have occurred. Yet her influence cannot be understated. Her legacy continues to captivate and provoke debate among believers and skeptics alike. As we delve into her prophecies, let's focus on a specific region that featured prominently in her visions: Ukraine. What did Vanga actually predict about Ukraine? Let's unravel the mysteries. Baba Vanga, a Bulgarian mystic known for her prophetic visions, often spoke in enigmatic terms, leaving much to interpretation. Among her various forecasts, a few centered specifically on Ukraine, a land marked by its rich history and complex geopolitical narratives. One of the more intriguing predictions Vanga reportedly made was about Ukraine experiencing significant political upheaval and distress. She is said to have foreseen a time of great turmoil that would extend beyond its borders, influencing the broader Eastern European geopolitical landscape. However, the details, including exact dates or specific events, were typically not provided by Vanga, which is a common characteristic of her prophecies. In interpreting these predictions, it's essential to consider the context in which they were made. During Vanga's lifetime, Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, a state often associated with political repression and turmoil. Her predictions might have been influenced by the prevailing conditions and the general anticipation of change that permeated throughout the Eastern Bloc during the late 20th century. Another significant aspect of her predictions touches on the emergence of new leaders who would rise during these times of turmoil. These leaders, according to her visions, would be pivotal in steering the country towards a new era. This part of her prophecy is particularly interesting considering Ukraine's recent history, where the nation has seen a series of prominent leaders who have played crucial roles in its ongoing conflict and negotiations on the international stage. Furthermore, Vanga hinted at economic struggles but also eventual recovery, suggesting a cycle of hardship followed by rejuvenation for Ukraine. This aligns with the economic downturns followed by periods of recovery and growth that have characterized much of Ukraine's recent economic history. With these predictions laid out, how do we measure their accuracy against the actual course of history? To understand the impact of Vanga's words, we must first look at Ukraine's historical landscape. Ukraine's journey through the decades is a tale of resilience, marked by significant periods of political change, conflict, and transformation. It's a story that begins in the early 20th century, when Ukraine first declared independence in 1918, following the collapse of the Russian Empire. Yet this independence was short-lived, as the region soon became a part of the Soviet Union in 1922. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, and we witness Ukraine enduring the harrowing trials of the Second World War. The post-war era brought significant Soviet influence, embedding a complex layer of political and cultural dynamics that would shape the nation for decades. The late 20th century heralded a pivotal moment for Ukraine. The fall of the Soviet Union in 1991 once again saw Ukraine reclaim its independence. This period was marked by a fervent push towards democracy, and a series of political reforms aimed at establishing a stable and independent Ukrainian state. However, the journey was not without its challenges. The country faced economic difficulties, corruption, and political instability, which often led to public protests and government changes. Entering the 21st century, Ukraine found itself at the crossroads of European integration and historical ties with Russia. The Orange Revolution in 2004 and the Euromaidan protests in 2013 to 2014 highlighted the nation's ongoing struggle for democracy and closer ties with Western Europe. These events not only reshaped Ukrainian politics but also its identity on the global stage. In more recent years, the annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014 and the ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine have tested the resilience and sovereignty of the nation, drawing international attention and concern. With this backdrop, Vanga's words seem to intertwine with the threads of Ukraine's history. But how closely do they align? Now let's critically analyze the accuracy of Vanga's predictions about Ukraine. Vanga, the blind Bulgarian seer, made several predictions throughout her life, some of which purportedly pertained to Ukraine. Her followers claim she foresaw major global events, but today, we focus specifically on her visions relating to this Eastern European nation. One of the most cited predictions discusses a great turmoil in a land with vast fields and a rich history, which many have linked to Ukraine. Vanga allegedly said, "When the world weeps for the lost light, the land of the fields will face trials by steel and fire." This has been interpreted by some as foretelling the conflicts that have periodically shaken Ukraine, including recent tensions with neighboring countries. However, when cross-referencing with actual events, the interpretation becomes less clear. The phrases "trials by steel and fire" could metaphorically translate to any number of conflicts or even industrial changes. This is a common issue with Vanga's prophecies. They're often vague and open to broad interpretation. Another prediction attributed to Vanga speaks of a great awakening in a northern land leading to a new era of prosperity. Some enthusiasts connect this to Ukraine's strides towards independence and subsequent democratic developments. Yet again, the vagueness of the statement makes it applicable to numerous other scenarios and countries, diluting its specificity and predictive power. Critics argue that the true test of a prophecy lies in its precision and verifiability. In the case of Vanga, many claims about specific events like political upheavals or natural disasters are retrospectively fitted into her nebulous statements after the events have occurred. This retrospective fitting raises questions about the genuine predictive nature of her visions. Moreover, the ambiguous nature of these prophecies often leads to selective interpretation, where only successful matches are highlighted, while numerous misses are overlooked. This confirmation bias complicates the evaluation of Vanga's accuracy. As we see, the line between fact and fiction in Vanga's predictions can often blur. What does this tell us about the nature of prophecies? Despite the debates, Vanga's influence remains strong. How does her legacy persist in contemporary beliefs and politics? In the labyrinth of modern society, the enigmatic predictions of Vanga have woven themselves into the very fabric of cultural and political discourse, particularly in Eastern Europe. Her prophecies, once whispered in the corners of Balkan villages, now echo through the halls of power and the screens of millions. Vanga's predictions, particularly those concerning Ukraine, have not only spurred curiosity but have also influenced public opinion. When she spoke of turmoil and transformations, many listened, interpreting her words through the lens of current events. This has led to a unique dynamic where historical foresight and contemporary politics intersect, often blurring the lines between belief and policy. The media, always a catalyst for public discourse, plays a pivotal role in this phenomenon. Television programs, documentaries, and online articles often revisit Vanga's words, each time perhaps adding a layer of contemporary interpretation that wasn't there before. This constant re-examination keeps her legacy alive and stirs a continuous dialogue about her relevance. Moreover, Vanga's influence extends beyond mere curiosity or entertainment. For some, her predictions hold a quasi-religious significance, offering a sense of certainty in uncertain times. This has led to what can be seen as a Vanga effect, where her name and her visions are invoked in matters of national importance. Discussions about national security, environmental policy, and even international relations in Ukraine are sometimes peppered with references to her predictions, showcasing the profound impact she has on the collective psyche. On a more communal level, Vanga's legacy has permeated cultural expressions. Art, literature, and even local folklore often include nods to her mystic persona, reflecting her indelible mark on the cultural landscape. This cultural embedding acts as a feedback loop, further entrenching her influence in public consciousness. In essence, Vanga's visions, whether one regards them as mystic insights or historical curiosities, continue to resonate or, perhaps haunt, the collective consciousness. As we conclude our exploration of Vanga's predictions for Ukraine, what have we unearthed? Throughout this exploration, we've delved deep into the mystic's visions that spanned across the fabric of Ukraine's turbulent history. Vanga, often shrouded in mystery, predicted moments of upheaval and transformation that seemed to align eerily with actual events. We've seen how her forecasts, from political shifts to societal changes, have sparked debates on their accuracy, Some saw them as prophetic insights that bore fruit, while skeptics pointed out the vagueness that allows multiple interpretations. Yet, the impact of her words has undeniably rippled through the consciousness of many, influencing both personal beliefs and broader cultural narratives. Reflecting on these elements, it becomes clear that Vanga's prophecies continue to stir curiosity and skepticism in equal measure. They compel us to ponder the intricate dance of fate and free will, and the potential of foresight in human affairs. In the end, Vanga's enigmatic legacy challenges us to question the boundaries between destiny and coincidence. Thank you for joining this journey through the veils of time and prophecy.